Moody to Pew, we might have a cardiac arrest right on the finish line.
Clear cardiac arrest on the finish line.
My name is Nick Powers. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska. I've been here my whole life.
Nick is my best friend, just super positive and happy. He helps with all the kids plenty, coaches their teams.
It's always something happening. I enjoy cooking. I love doing that. And so being healthy is, like I said, not like a huge focus of my life, but it's always been something that I've tried to do well as much as I could. Tried to be active, tried to eat healthy, try to get good sleep, try to do all the things right.
I remember I heard Nick get out of bed that morning. So it was obviously early. It was probably 6 a.m. or so. And I heard him get up and get ready. And then I heard him leave our room, and I even remember saying like, bye, have fun. And so then he was gone.
But honestly, I was feeling great. I did some warm-up runs that week. I was shooting for 2 hours.
We decided to go with some friends to about the mile 8 mark, because that was right by the zoo. And so we saw him run by, and I was taking pictures, and then he was off.
Moody to Pew, we might have a cardiac arrest right on the finish line.
I tried really hard not to panic, but my body was panicking. I got a call from a police captain, I think it was even, that was down at the finish line just telling me that Nick had had a medical episode, and that I needed to come to the finish line. He's having CPR done right now.
It's a crazy scene when people roll in these scenarios, because you're trying to get information very quickly. There's a lot of people that are there to help. And so you're trying to coordinate a lot of people that are very highly skilled and all doing their job. It's the nurses, the respiratory therapists, it's the perfusionists, it's everyone that's needed to perform at a really high level. Probably what struck me most, like when he rolls in, when you see somebody essentially your age, I think that kind of is very impactful and makes it different, I guess, maybe than some other cases.
Once we got him in ER, we had basically CPR'd him for several rounds. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, this does not look good. Does not look, from my personal experience, it doesn't look good. But I mean, you don't give up. The basic guidelines, that American Heart has provided for healthcare workers as far as like the BLS, the basic life support, the advanced life support, those came extremely in handy. As simple as they were the guidelines which gave me the algorithm in my head to, okay, connect the dots. This is where square one, square two.
He did get his pulse back in the ER. That gives you a bit of an opportunity to think. And very quickly, we were running into problems then, though, where even though we had a pulse, it was weak. We had him on multiple medicines to keep the pulse. And then we weren't able to oxygenate him. So even though we had a pulse, his oxygen sats were really low. And so that's when we were kind of scrambling to figure out what to do next.
Me and my parents, we got taken to a little room, and I even remember saying I don't want to be in a little room. Little rooms are bad. This you don't want to go to a little room, because that's where they tell you bad stuff. I know Dr. Meyer came in at one point that first day and into that room, and he was kind of the first to say this is serious.
I just remember hearing that his ejection fraction of his heart was only 5% at one point. The EF is only 5%. It's not sustainable with life.
He's very unstable, but he's alive right now, and we've got him on ECMO. Didn't know what that was, now do. Thankful that exists.
I think we have a system that encourages us to help these sick patients. It provides us the resources to do that. And then in addition to that, I think you just have really good people that are working within that system.
And I think it's also important to point out that we can't do our job unless bystanders do theirs. The patients usually were CPR isn't started right away. There's just too many other obstacles. We usually don't see good outcomes. So his was just full circle of everyone coming together and having a helping hand in this.
Hey, you get from, I'll get back.
Nick was in a coma from Sunday to Saturday. I remember his voice being really scratchy. He couldn't really talk fully, but he eventually got out like the words, "What happened?"
I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what was happening at that moment. And so it was a lot of confusion and being a little bit scared, unknowing. And that was the moment that things kind of all were hitting for me. I just think about more time with my kids, my wife, my family. It's just really showing me to value every moment that I have.
I think as a father, myself, makes it emotional. And so I'll always have that attachment to this. And just, again, it's to be part of a case like this where I think all those things we talked about that were set in place, and to watch it, to see it all work, it's pretty amazing.
I think it's important for everybody to know HAA guidelines, especially just as far as basic BLS, as basic life support. That information, that type of training is priceless. I mean, to save a family member's life is priceless.
I've been told by even like the paramedics, if this would have happened 100 yards before the finish line, they might not have been able to get to me in time to save my life. If this would have happened on any of my training runs, where luckily my body was like, hey, we're gonna work real hard on the half marathon, this is where it's gonna happen. That was incredible that it did when it did. It's the reason I'm here.